Elachi.
We have advised the National Police Service through various OCS accordingly and given a copy of the advisory to the Independent Police Oversight Authority. To the Independent Police Oversight Authority, you are aware that the opposition has been a major victim of police brutality across the country with no action from your end. If it is forgotten, I invite you to recall instances of police brutality and assassination attempts on His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his allies. I want to make this clear. We are a peaceful people, and our meet and greet the Nairobi people tomorrow is as such. Unfortunately, last night, we have been informed that the Nairobi County Governor, in cohorts with the CS for Interior, Mr. Kipchumba Murkomen, held several meetings and have activated their state-sponsored goons to cause harm to innocent citizens. This is being done by one chief of staff, one David, in connection with the following members of parliament: George Aladwa and the Dagoretti North MP, Mama Beatrice Elachi. The duo have expressed instructions to the goons to loot, destroy property, and harm people, and then blame it on DCP and its members. Please, Mr. Murkomen and Mr. Sakaja, do not burn down our country with your irresponsibility and carelessness.
At the same time, the party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, will only be allowed to hold his planned meeting at the Kamkunji grounds if he or his party has made the requisite notification to the police for adequate security deployment. This is according to Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who maintains that the government will not allow unsanctioned public rallies to disrupt peace and business in Nairobi during Gachagua's planned return. Murkomen's remarks follow a similar warning by the Inspector General Police Douglas Kanja, who downplayed Gachagua's much publicized return from the United States, describing it as an ordinary affair. IG Kanja emphasized that the National Police Service is fully in charge of security arrangements and expects normalcy during Gachagua's landing at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Your question sounds funny because there are so many people landing in Kenya every day. So I don't know why we should be worried about one person landing. There are two things to think about what you are saying. One is that in the absence of that leader in the country, or his arrival is a security threat, which is not entirely, which means you are not really entirely wrong, because in the last few months or weeks when he has not been around, the country has been very peaceful. And so you have a point by saying that perhaps the security agency should be prepared for a more chaotic environment as a result of his coming back to the country. Let me say that the security sector is prepared to deal with any insecurity issues. The last time he was around and there were so many goons in the same of protests, we were very prepared, and every other minute the National Police Service is.
Right, we're going for a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what's happening in the papers together with Mureithi Moitu, all right? All right, let's take a look at what is happening in the newspapers today. Pretty interesting stuff. And I'm in the studio with Mureithi Mwitu. Welcome, Mureithi.
Pleasure to have me.
You know, when I was coming in the morning, I found, trucks with what you can call anti-riot police stationed along some of the road coming out of JKIA. And it just hit me that, today is when Rigiji is jetting into the country.
Yes, indeed, yes.
And when I was listening into the press conference that was done by CS Murkomen and the Inspector General Kanja, and they said his landing is a normal occurrence.
Yeah.
But the fact that they are holding a press conference to address a normal occurrence already shows that it's not a normal occurrence.
Sure. Secondly, I think that one explains how uncomfortable they are with the presence of Rigathi Gachagua, especially in Kenya. And evidently, you would still notice that while Rigathi Gachagua was away, while they were doing their empowerment, whatever campaigns they were doing, the subject was always Rigathi Gachagua, is not the people they went to meet. So it means they are worried that with what is happening, and especially the recent seemingly fallout between with the principals from Parliament and the executive. That one also they know is fodder for the opposition. And there's a lot that would cause them to feel uncomfortable. So the discomfort you see, much as they say that it's an ordinary arrival and they're preparing for it with that kind of force, then it means it's not an ordinary thing. They know what the ground is all about.
In the Standard, the headlines is thorn in the flesh.
Sure.
And you have Rigathi Gachagua there. It says a year after his ouster accused of misconduct, corruption, and insubordination, Rigathi Gachagua has recast himself as Ruto's loudest foe. He has turned against his former boss, accusing him of running a criminal enterprise from State House, extrajudicial killings, and state-backed militias. Fresh from a U.S. tour, he returns to lead the opposition in high-stakes by-election, a dress rehearsal for the bruising 2027 contest. Why in the world wouldn't he just come in just normal? Because you know what is going to happen today. It's probably going to, like Malala was saying, the deputy party leader is saying that the government has hired goons to be at the rally at Kamkunji.
Yeah.
Obviously, you expect that as his convoy, because they say that his convoy is going to go from JKI, go to CBD, then Kamkunji. I mean, it's a lot of disruption. Why in the world can't he just come, land, tell people, hey, I'm around, and then start campaigning for the by-elections?
This is beyond Rigathi Gachagua. It's not Rigathi Gachagua planning his return.
Are you sure?
No, it's not about him. This is the ground. The supporters.
What I'm talking about is written Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes, absolutely. Because you see, what has been happening never made sense to the KK government side, that these things have got impact. Had you spoken to the likes of the current deputy president and his ilks from Mount Kenya, they believed there's something they were doing while on the ground. But anytime they went to the ground, as much as they paid people to be in their meetings, they discovered that at the end of the meeting, guys were chanting something different. And what I'm trying to explain is that it has not been easy for them. Now, Rigathi Gachagua's comeback, with him coming back, the plans about his return is not about is not him giving them taking cue from Rigathi Gachagua that this is what I would expect to find, this is what I want. No, Rigathi Gachagua was actually planning to come back home as easy as he left. you know, just went, boarded a KQ in the evening, no, whatever, and he left. But you see, the things that he had spoken, take the issue of the RSF, which Murkomen had hyped the other day.
Yes.
Why would they require to have need to arrest Rigathi Gachagua because of RSF? Yet, all over internet, all over, anywhere you can find, we can access images of RSF after he had spoken about it. Things happening. The RSF guys being received at State House, the RSF at KICC on a red carpet, forming their government peacefully without anybody interrupting. It means they had the permission from the high office, which is from the president. So definitely, when you see these things, again, it would make them seem as though they are making a parody of themselves, because they are trying to pretend not to see what's happening. You know, so there was nothing. Now it is them who have hyped Rigathi Gachagua's comeback. Rigathi Gachagua, the government, the KK, yes, the government itself. Yes. While the opposition side was kind of quiet, the quiet they're talking about, on their side, they were always talking about Rigathi Gachagua, including him, Murkomen. They were all they could talk about is ule mutua. You know, all this. They're the ones who hyped Rigathi Gachagua's comeback, and everybody has been asking themselves, why are these people so troubled by the absence, not the presence, the absence of Rigathi Gachagua? And that is why even those who never trusted him. And you can see even the Gen Zs are saying now we will partner even with parties that will have, we'll actually embrace our ideals and ideologies, you know. And the ideals and the ideologies are actually born in all that Rigathi Gachagua was talking about. I mean, the plight of Kenyans, you know, the progress of Kenya, and all these things he was bringing up. Even while he was in government, is don't do this. These are the repercussions. Don't do this. These are going to be the repercussions. Don't even impeach me. These are going to be the repercussions. Now, they are facing it right now. The people who helped him impeach Rigathi Gachagua, just the other day, Kimani Ichung'wah is complaining. After impeachment, even the president himself seems to have developed a character of, somewhat ignoring him. And once that happens, it means you have been used, you've been dumped. They've only been forcing themselves.
I think the whole, and we'll get to that, the whole executive and parliament thing is a ploy. I don't think there's even a rift between the executive and the legislature.
There's a big one.
I think it's a ploy to show that the president does not have control of parliament. I don't think there's anything going there.
I'll sing it from this aspect. Do you think there's no money laundering amongst members of the executive and parliament? Thank you. Now, when you legislate, it means you intend to deal with them by the law, or anyone who take up that law and push whoever, whether it's the person sitting at the topmost position or the ones down here, wherever you go, there is corruption in Kenya.
Yes.
And money laundering itself is actually a big thing, especially this time that looting of the government has taken place, big time. And you can only take cue from what you see from the EACC, that we have a lot of cases that are actually on our table that we need to deal with. That tells you that there's a lot of corruption. And you see the problem when we talk about corruption, it makes it sound so nice, so easy, that it's another vocabulary of explaining theft. These are thieves. You know, stealing has been formalized in Kenya, and that's why now when these things are coming up, and the parliamentarians have legislated this thing, and you can imagine, you're talking about gold from a war-torn country. You're talking about money that has been lost from the counties that are not accounted for. And how many times have we said here that the accountability bit of characteristic amongst our leadership, be it the parliamentarians with the CDF, you know, because eventually they end up spending like 50 million and then 100 million, they can't account for it. We can have so much that goes to the counties, 6 billion, but they will still try to hide under that carpet called recurrent budget, you know.
Yes.
So
It's a
salary,
given,
wages.
it's a given and a known fact that corruption is so rife.
It's rampant.
Within the country.
Yeah.
And you know, the most interesting thing is that after the accusation by the president that parliament is a den of corruption, the parliamentarians themselves started saying, you know, it is the executive that pays us these monies to be able to pass these bills. And the executive itself, represented by the president, gave an example where some members of parliament went to, I guess, to him and got 10 million and they were supposed to come and, you know, mobilize people for the anti-money laundering bill, and they disappeared with the 10 million.
Disappearing with the 10 million and the empowerment funds that they walk around with. You think they walk around with 1 million shillings or 2 million shillings to disburse, and they are riding on choppers, 10, 15, 10 choppers landing on one ground. Calculating it by 1 million shillings is 15 million shillings spent. And more than that, accommodation and everything. You know, there's a lot that goes on, and the allowances, because they're not just doing it for free. Definitely, there's a lot that goes on that explains a lot of extravagance with the public resources in terms of money. Now, what I'm trying to say is that the reason why they're complaining, if I got your question right,
Yes.
Is because these 10 million shillings was just a reason for him now to hit at the parliament, at the parliamentarians. But I sing it from, beyond the veils. I told you it's something to do with, I suspect it's something to do with the law that they had just passed. Because questions around how come a son of the president would spend 14 million on a matatu, which usually, looking the way it looks, goes for around, 10 million, 8 million, such expenditure. And it's not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10. He has many. And people are asking, hey, could this be another conduit of, cleansing, whatever could be there? I'm not saying that he's stealing. I'm only saying that people are now are actually linking them now to these things, counting from the days of the Adanis and all corrupt corrupt projects, projects that have been, have been tagged with some form of corruption, and has not been the president's bother after all this. So somewhat it seems like they have gotten information from the ground itself, and it's angering them. And you see now with this kind of law, I told you, is not a good thing. However, there could be many other things coming out. That would be there.
The way I read it. I read it as a ploy immediately after the PG, the joint PG. A ploy where, because the executive has been accused of having taken over parliament, so that parliament is literally non-existent in terms of, executing what they're supposed to execute. I see it as a ploy of, okay, let's play this out so that Parliament can appear to have a muscle of itself, so that the two principals, Raila Odinga and the president, are not seen as having full control of the House, because perception is everything. Perception is everything, and they had been accused of having, taken over Parliament to a point whereby we don't have Parliament.
State capture is real.
Yes.
It's so real with the Kenya Kwanza government and the broad-based government. It's so real. The moment parliament, and now talking about the ODM that came to empower the Kenya Kwanza UDA that was left after the exit of especially the majority of Mount Kenya people. What has happened is that state capture has really taken place in parliament, and not because the president has used all the tactics to win them, no, but because they actually abdicated their responsibility and powers. They never used them. They have not acted accordingly as legislators. They have not really exercised their powers. And you can tell it from now the way they're crying wolf over what is happening. They are saying it is time now to rudishe majembe mikononi tufanye kazi. I mean, this is the time. Why did you at any one time put aside the tools that you were meant to use all throughout the term? Then it means somebody has been acting irresponsible, and that's the parliament. And complaining that you have been duped somewhere, or you've been tricked somewhere, or something that happened, something would have happened. Maybe you were convinced, you were cheated. If you were convinced a lie, you had the power to reject it or take it up. They chose to take it up because there were some coins that followed it. You know, the 3 million during impeachment, the 10 million at the Senate, you know, nobody denied it.
What if, so, I'm still on that agenda. What if, look at it from this perspective, there are a number of balls that are playing in the air. They are being juggled. And this has happened in Kenya for a very long time, whereby you juggle a number of balls. But the balls in the air are not the balls that are being played. You have, as we were talking, you have Rigathi Gachagua coming into the country. Then you juggle a ball that seems to depict a division between the executive and parliament. So that now the conversation is more on the, in quotes, division between parliament and the executive, drowning the conversation about the coming back of Rigathi. Because the conversation that has been going on for some time on different quarters is what is happening between, is the war on corruption and the rift between parliament and the executive. And statements being made in parliament. Even up to yesterday. And to some extent, the Rigathi thing has been drowned heavily by this conversation. It's not the first time probably this has happened in the country. We used to see it with President Daniel Arap Moi. When there's something happening that, you know, is concerning to him, something else happens that takes the attention of the, and you know, unfortunately, the fourth estate has the memory of a fish. Things are thrown, we jump onto it, and before we are finished with this, something else comes,
and we lose the water.
What is the possibility that even this conversation about the rift between the two arms of government is the same thing? It's a ball that has been cast so that we can chew on it, as the other one is being played.
You see, much as they may try to, to do that kind of cover-up, or maybe camouflage with this, you know, the balls they're juggling, one of them is real. The attacks the president brought against parliament will leave them with a wound. The attacks the parliament is now, hurling at the executive will leave the executive with wounds. This morning, last night,
you don't see it as a very well scripted play out between the executive and parliament that was worked out by the two parties.
They're not working in one head. They are not reading from the same script. Because today, Kenyans now know how many bills have been passed in favor of the president himself. You know,
Yes.
because they're saying it. They're the ones who are saying it.
Yes.
And all these bills that have passed, they had been some kind of form of compromise that is seen in it. You know, and it seems, like I said, when they abdicated their powers and responsibilities, they got misused.
Yes.
Now they're complaining because they have discovered, they thought it was not going to be too soon to be unveiled.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And now that they are naked, they are also trying to say that we are actually going to do the same to you. And if you follow critically the proceedings of Parliament, especially yesterday and the day before yesterday, it will tell you so many things.
Yes.
that went on. You know, then they were saying, we actually helped you this way, this way. We expected you that you would actually behave this or the other way.
Yes.
And that's not now the case. And they were really complaining for sure, you know. And somewhat they didn't care what the people they represent, the ones who had delegated the responsibility, their sovereign power to them,
Yes.
what they think, the people who had sent them to do, to serve them. So this is the time they're beginning to learn these things.
Yes.
And so when we say that this could be kind of something that is supposed to make it hazy,
Yes.
so that we don't see the Rigathi's return as anything,
Yes.
the plans for Rigathi Gachagwa's return is by the people, and you cannot really overshadow that thing.
What do you
Kenyans
mean-
are waiting for Rigathi Gachagua to come. So what I'm trying to say,
What do you mean it's by the people? Because
you see,
which people? Because we are the people, right? And when you say that the return and all these things that are happening are by the people, I don't understand.
let me use the correct word.
Yes.
His supporters.
His supporters.
You know, when you talk about his supporters, the representative of his supporters, the ones who are left on ground,
Yes.
are the ones who spoke.
Yes.
They are the ones who outlined the plans they have for the return of Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes.
So whether they are going to block that meeting and make it unsuccessful,
Yes.
campaigns will still continue.
Yes.
For the opposition led by Rigathi Gachagua on ground.
Yes.
So today does not end the politics of the opposition. As a matter of fact, if I were them, I would advise them, let it be.
Actually,
If there'll be crowd meeting him, just let him go. Let them go, say what they're saying and go home.
Yes, actually, isn't that what President Moi did? I remember when the Rengos, the Nyongos of this world, I think Raila was also there.
Yeah.
They used to hold parallel rallies
Yes.
at Kamkunji. And every time the president would send the police after them, and it would create a huge thing.
Yeah.
Then at one time, Moi was holding his meeting, and the opposition called for a meeting. No police went there.
Yeah.
And they, by not focusing on it, they took attention away from it. And the next meeting, the next public rally, and they said they were going to hold a joint.
Yeah.
And the government told them, you can hold a meeting.
I think this is the time when
people
you had
didn't go.
when you had the Uhuru Park Moi Nyayo Stadium,
Yes.
parallel rallies.
Yes. Yes.
So it just takes some wisdom, not necessarily intelligence all the time, just some wisdom. Let them be, let them say what they have to say, because they've been saying it, they will say it again and go home.
Yeah.
Our leader would be suffering from jet lag, and I'm saying it because I don't hate him, I love him.
Yes.
I love the guy, and I love the kind of politics. I like truthful people. Why not? Why not? I wouldn't have a problem with Rigathi Gachagua, he's my friend.
Yes.
But if I was Murkomen, I would go easy on this.
You just let it. Just
let them.
Let him come from
Just
the airport.
just manage the airport.
Yes.
Let the people leave.
Give him even.
Just give them just the way
secure him.
just the way Kibaki was led from the airport all the way to the park, and after making his speech, that was it. People went home, and it's the same thing. What's happening here is that they have been deconstructing themselves, and they're fearing that maybe Rigathi Gachagua might kindle some fire amongst his opposition peers, and dismantle them further. And this is what they're fearing, because now you see with the cracks that are now becoming imminent, you think Raila Odinga is going to withstand criticism from his own parliamentarians when he doesn't defend them, yet he is the one who broke the gambit at the PG meeting.
Yes.
It's not
this is very well scripted.
No, let me tell you.
Yes.
The character of Raila Odinga.
There's a division between this. I think it's just a well-scripted play where this is the role you will play, this is the role we'll play. We'll get the country talking about what we are talking. We'll send the country on a wild goose chase as we deal with some of these things here.
Maybe William Ruto would be good at it, but Raila Odinga is not used to being challenged, criticized, you know. He's not used to seeing opposition within his, within his opposition traits. You know, Raila Odinga is somebody who is used to saying and it becomes.
Yes.
You know, now he said it and he's being criticized. There are some who are coming out openly to tell him. Of course, there is that fear of supporters. And supporters now, when you see from the ground where you used to call your strongholds, people are talking.
Yes.
You know, and they don't fear your reaction. That tells you one thing. Raila Odinga may not stay in this deal for long, and especially after the flop of Uhuru's effort to split Mount Kenya.
What do you mean the flop of Uhuru's
He's going to flop.
effort?
He's definitely going to flop because...
What plot is this?
You see, once these campaigns begin and the by-elections continue to take place, every victory by the opposition in whichever area location of the country, every victory will mean more strength, more oomph for the opposition, and that will mean that the unity of these people, of their supporters from whatever regions will be much stronger than ever before. Now, this is why I'm explaining it to you, this thing. People who are keen enough can tell you that Moses Kuria did not resign from Ruto's government because it never ruffled any feathers. It's because he's sent out there as an emissary by the UDA to come and help Uhuru Kenyatta play the Kiambu strategy. Let's pull out Kiambu from the rest of Murang'a and Nyeri and then send Peter Munya to be the guide for Fred Matiang'i. And Fred Matiang'i the other day admitted, he's not saying that he no longer has a party, doesn't have a party. He now admitted he's actually working around with the Jubilee team, so he is going to be a Jubilee. He is actually a Jubilee candidate. And so they intend to revive the competition that was to be kindled by Akinaruku for splitting Mount Kenya East from Mount Kenya West. But you see, that's in their realm of, leadership. But coming to the ground, Mount Kenya, they actually doesn't exist, Mount Kenya East. East and West, because the people you are trying to split, they have a sizable number of people from Meru working in this other side of the divide, and while others are this other side of the divide of that region. You know, so there is no way you can split them. So introducing this kind of politics. Remember, Uhuru Kenyatta brought Raila Odinga, and he never gave reasons. He wanted to just present as and actually acted like a juggernaut. You ask him no question. I mean, he has done what he thinks is right. But when you're dealing with people who also have brains, sometimes when he acts the way he acted with the people of Mount Kenya, is no different from what the president said. He has all 5 presidents in himself, so he's a superman. So when we begin to act like that and think that you're heading anywhere, I'll tell you the truth. The more Uhuru Kenyatta continues to contaminate the politics of Mount Kenya, because he's doing it for his own personal interest. Expressway was just mentioned by the government, and things went haywire, and every newspaper, every information was everywhere. Oh, so these are the guys who own Expressway, using our money, you know. And by the way, one day we shall look into how PPP is actually robbing Kenyans, and at some point, few will own Kenya. So PPP is just a grand theft. Now, people of Mount Kenya will take you back to when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. even when he was actually trying to, deny importers, to do their stocks from China,
Yes.
to do importation within their capacities. And there were these rules like you can only do a container for a singular type of products. Maybe if you're coming with motor spares, it's motor spares, one container, one person, this kind of a thing. Because then they had the capability, but it was a way of, doing away with the pooling system in the importation. Those are people in Mount Kenya suffered these things. And many other things that really happened. The River Yala, people, bodies that were found there, the quarry bodies, all these abductions we're talking about, the murders that have taken place during his times and now into this time, and they are now working in cahoots, tells you one thing, that much as they connive, they actually connive against the Kenyans who have actually given them power and privileges at some point. It's not going to be good for them. It's going to be nasty. And that's why I'm saying what William Ruto is doing right now with Raila Odinga, they're trying to play this game, play it out like we were just joking, we wanted this thing to pass. But it won't pass because there are people who feel injured. There are people who already feel betrayed, and they know that once beaten, twice shy. The ones who've been working for the government and trying to, woo Mount Kenya and now defeated, and that comes all the way from the deputy president to the ones surrounding him. The deputy president may not lose his seat, no, but I think the person to be reshuffled is the chief minister. He might be taken. Musalia Mudavadi might be taken to another slot, so that Gladys Wanga can be brought to such a place. Not really as deputy president, because somebody might seek to have the law interpreted in terms of replacement, because the replacement was explained at impeachment, but not at will, because that replacement at will is the one that was dealt with by the impeachment process of either the deputy or the president. So that is something that may not play out well for him. So definitely the politics they thought that would actually go down well with the parliamentarians have taken it seriously. And the things that the parliamentarians have spoken the last 2 days in the Senate and in the National Assembly, when people begin now to scrutinize these things and absorb, I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy for them. So this might be the beginning of the end of the broad base.
I don't see that happening.
The reason I'm saying this is that don't forget that ODM is supposed to be the majority in parliament, as per the court decision, the court verdict that was given. So if they choose to take up their position, why aren't you not seeing the possibility of an impeachment?
Okay, on the third page, there's a shocker. A guy had lived with somebody for 10 years. And this is, I think this is very important for people to read this and see the precedent that has been set by the courts. Because this man had lived with this woman for 10 years. They had 2 children, but when they went to court, seeking divorce, the court says they were not married. So you need to read this case and the precedent that has been set, so that you make sure that even after living for 50 years with the person you're living with, you're actually married.
Their rights,
despite the fact that you have kids.
If you go a religious way of marriage, there's some ritual steps that somebody would go through. There are some rituals that one would perform on this other side if you go customarily. So if none of it had taken place, you're considered as somebody who was not married.
Because there's also what is implied, in the sense that if you're living with somebody and to the outsiders you're projecting that your husband and wife and you've lived for a certain period, then you can be considered husband.
In any argument in a court of law, Article 46 will be looked into. The Bible says that Parliament shall enact a law that will protect marriages under customary, religious, personal law, you know. No, when they say that they shall enact a law that will protect it, it means one thing. They cannot ignore, regardless of the ethnic principles that are there, that go with marriage, cultural, ethnic, you know, principles that must be observed during marriage process. The government, I mean, the law states that it will respect that. So whatever laws that have been put in place, you cannot ignore that. If you came to the Kikuyus, you never said, you never planted a twig, what we call idege. If you never did that as the first step, then it means you hadn't even started. You know, it's like just cohabiting and you know, making babies, and that's it. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we need to understand these things and see that from the aspect of the law, because this is in the court of law. From the aspect of the law, they will look at all these things. And Mark you, while I get out of that segment of the law, when we argue about the LGBTQ, we entered it there when we introduced the personal law in marriage. What is personal law? It's what I feel, what I think. Then check the UN Charter on that accommodates LGBTQ. It is what you feel, what you think, how you know how you're feeling now, what you want. That's what you become, what you identify yourself with. And right now, that's what you go for. So that's how we actually entrench that thing into our constitution.
You know, it's madness because, and that's the reason why I believe Jesus Christ is coming back pretty soon. That a person, you choose what you identify with. Identify as a man or a woman. I can identify as a camera.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that ridiculous.
No, you see, the contradiction in our law,
yes,
and especially on marriage matters, is that the first clause speaks about man and woman. The second clause speaks about parties. So what's the sex of parties?
Yeah, they don't.
What represents the sex of a party in marriage?
You refer to the first.
No.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that. The law sometimes can be so literal. If it speaks parties in marriage, it means parties in marriage. So whether they're male, male, female, female, male, female, male, whatever, they are parties in marriage. So that was the twist in the language. So when we were doing the Constitution in 2010, there were these questions that were being asked. Why don't you just come out clear? Close to, say man and woman, husband and wife, speak it as it is. This thing of parties, party has no sex. So you can only say party A and party B, you know? And that does not mean you're referring to party A as the male or party A as the female. Now that's how LGBTQ came. Then the personal law. I wake up in the morning and I say, Mama Nani, hatuwezani. Yeah. And then Johnny comes around. Yeah. It's evil. These are the last days, my brother. That's when you see the abomination of desolation. These things are the ones that we are witnessing today. Kenyans did know that they entrenched that thing in the Constitution. That's why any president is not able to challenge that one. Because if you're upholding and protecting the Constitution, then an expert sits you down and tells you, this is how it was. Unless now you choose, from a personal point of view, declare that as long as you're the president, it doesn't happen. Okay. You know, that's how it is.
So the nation, you can read through that. MPs and analysts are reading a pattern in President Ruto's latest bribery attacks on Parliament, investigations into government scandals, enactment of anti-graft laws, compensation for victims of state attacks, and a looming hostile probe by the US. And then they're saying police free, Samido has been freed from the police. The bosses have now accepted his resignation. Laikipia villages to go sleep poor and wake up rich with batuk millions. Eish. So there is also the motive behind the president's attack on Parliament. Ruto calls for more access to Japan market. That's the nation. The back page, South Africa great McFish tips Kenya to beat Madagascar. Let me ask you, I'm hearing something. You're a football fan. I've been following on social media.
Yeah.
And I hear that Kenyans have bought tickets in TZ.
That's what I hear, and I can't rule out the possibility.
Kenyans are wicked.
Kenyans are real hackers.
They're real
they must have gotten into the systems.
In fact, CAF is saying at the back, this is the Nation, it's saying ticket was not new to CAF competition, ticketing challenges, the official ticketing portal crashed on Tuesday almost as soon as tickets for Harambee Stars' highly anticipated quarterfinals clash with Madagascar tomorrow at the Moi went on sale. And then they have, to the disappointment and frustration, the portal relented to the traffic, immediately announcing its defeat with graphics and nomenclature of internet server malfunctions. It looks like the match for tomorrow, people have already bought out the tickets.
Tickets are already gone.
We had been given 27,000. I must admit, I'm impressed by Harambee Stars so far.
Yeah.
They've won matches I never thought they would win, but they've been able to win.
Sure.
Madagascar tomorrow will be a very crucial match. We pray that they are able.
They will win. It's going to be a 2-1 win. Yeah.
You've even predicted.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-1. So those who are betting, just go for it.
Prophet Muredi has already said how
it's going to be 2-1. I mean, it's going to be 2-1.
Yeah. And it's an important match.
It's a very important match for both teams. Very important. That's why I'm not denying Madagascar goal. I know they can score.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I've watched their games and I've seen that they have the potential to shake the goal. Yeah, Kenya. But if Kenyans would play football as football, without those incentives in mind and play the football, the soccer they play, I mean, they can go places. Because when incentives are not there, does it mean you quit playing? So whatever you have been made to become, all this training that has come before the promises, and they're good. Actually, the incentives are so good from the president, from Sonko, from Raila Odinga, and many others who have promised. It's good. It encourages the teams, but we wish that it's extended to athletics and other areas, other disciplines. We have the Kenya women football team doing very well in the world circles. Yes. We have the rugby women team doing very well. We have the men sevens doing very well. We have the athletics. We're breaking records left and right. You know, let's not reward them because let's not only reward athletics because it's mostly might be termed as an ethnic factor, but if we are able to, we are seen now rewarding other disciplines, then that would actually, introduce a new spirit and gist towards sport, because for everyone into sports.
I agree. Well, thank you very much, Muredi.
I appreciate the time. And don't forget, maybe next time we will remember, because we didn't exhaust the emissary thing.
Yes.
The Jubilee emissary.
Yes.
Peter Munya on this side, the other guy. We'll look into those ones, because we need to really exhaustively digress into these matters concerning the Mount Kenya vote.
All right.
Yeah.
With that, we'll bring the curtains down on the show. Don't forget that there's a conference going on, the International Faith Summit here. And in the course of the day, we'll be playing you some of the sessions so that you can get blessed, all right? Do have yourself a lovely morning.